in HHN 365, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. My name is Duff, and as always, I'm here with my co-host Jess and Jonathan. What's up, guys?
Hello.
Spec map, spec map, spec map.
Spec. Yeah. We got a spec map this week, so we're going to talk about that. But first, you should follow us on social media. That's Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and YouTube, which might come in handy soon, at HHN365, and our TikTok at HHN365pod. You can join our Discord. Also, we'll have a tidbit about that soon. The link is in the description. Check out our merch at HHN365.com. Also might come in handy soon. And leave us a voicemail to join us on the show at 407-906-4134. And on today's show, of course, we're going to talk about that spec map. What else? Plenty of news, too. Like, a lot of news. But first, some 365 housekeeping. First of all, thank you so much if you came out to live trivia. I know that was a couple weeks ago now. We've had scheduling issues. I'm sorry, but here we are. We're back. Thank you for coming out. It was jam-packed. It was a lot of fun. We had a great time. Half Barrel had a great time. Thank you so much to them, as always.
So good. Thank you for coming in cosplay if you came and participated in that, because y'all look great. We had a whole Icons crew. They won, obviously, but
Yes.
Yeah. Seriously, thank you if you came out. It was awesome.
And Jonathan, you had your own kind of event for us, didn't you?
Yeah, me and our Discord mod, Alex, hosted a Discord event where we essentially talked all about the new speculation maps, like we're about to do right now in this podcast. And we had a lot of people join. It was kind of crazy. We were sitting at like 35 to 40 active members for almost the entire time. And I want to say thank you everyone who joined, interacted, posted H's in the chat and Chauncey's and all that fun stuff. We had a great time. We had a lot of fun talking all about it, hearing your theories and your wants for this year. And yeah, we just really appreciate it. And we love doing these Discord events every month. And if you aren't a part of Discord, we recommend, maybe you join, because the community is getting more and more active the closer we get at HHN. There's a lot of discussion almost every day. And we're going to be having Discord events, hopefully every month, and that's what we'll try to stick to. But definitely whenever there's something special like a spec map, we'll try to get one out, within the next week or so. And those are always so much fun. So yeah, thank you everyone who joined.
Yeah, and that might not even be the one for the month. We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Future editor Jess here. Full transparency for you guys. This episode actually took about a week from the time we recorded it to the time it got edited and uploaded and, everything for you guys. So in that time, we actually have a new merch that is dropping since we recorded this. So we wanted to come in here and kind of sneak that in for you guys. If you're listening to this episode the day it releases on Monday or Tuesday, give us a little bit of patience. But on Wednesday, May 8th at noon at HHN365.com, we have our brand new Oddfellow Icon shirt. We actually have two shirts, technically same design, but we have it on black. And then we also have a very cool UV green reactive and black tie-dye variant that is going to be limited edition. It's going to be a pre-order, and then maybe we'll do a couple extras, but this might be kind of like a one-time thing. So if you are interested in that tie-dye, go ahead and sign up for that now. It is going to take us a little bit longer because me and the guys have to hand tie-dye that ourselves. So just keep that in mind. It might take, I would say, about 3 to 4 weeks from the time you order it to the time you'll get it. I think we're going to hold pre-orders for at least a week anyways. So don't expect this until June. But yeah, so that variant is going to be $32.99 for the UV reactive tie-dye. And then the black shirt is going to be our normal $28.99. And you guys can find that at HHN365.com. And this design was actually done by Brian at Lenobade Art. And we'll have that in all of the show notes and everything if you want to go ahead and follow them and support them. So thank you so much for working on us with this design. It took a while from the time of making it to the time of the shirt actually releasing, but we're really excited about this. Check that out again at HHN365.com. Now back to the spec map episode.
All right, let's head into the news. I guess I'll kick off the news real quick and just go into the really quick fun thing that you can also join live if you would like to, and that is that there will be an HHN panel at Spooky Empire once again. That's going to be on May 17th at 6 p.m., and it has been confirmed this will be with the entertainment production team of HHN Orlando. So if you happen to be in Orlando, check out Spooky Empire. You'll have a fun HHN panel for you. I've always enjoyed my time at them, so I'm sure you will as well.
Yeah, it's nice to see him come back, and I like that it's not the same thing every year. It's not, Mike Aiello and his, right-hand people, which I'm not saying anything against them. We love to see them. We love to hear them talk, but these are different stories. We got the ladies of HHN last year, and now we're getting a whole different team.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool thing for people to really get, just get an idea of what goes behind this incredible event that has so many moving parts. Getting a new piece of the event every time makes you a lot more knowledgeable, and gives you a lot more interesting, like you said, interesting stories and stuff. It's really fun for any HHN fan who likes hearing behind the scenes stuff like that.
And I would like to point out, this isn't a guarantee, but they tend to like to do these after an announcement to be able to discuss something that's been announced potentially. So maybe we can hope for an announcement before May 17th at this point.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are speculating that like exact week actually before this was even announced. A lot of people were saying that week, so we'll see.
We'll see. We hope.
Possible.
All right, let's go to Hollywood for a little bit, I guess.
Yeah. Let's go to HHN Hollywood. We have honestly a lot of things that we can kind of just spitball or to go really fast through because there's nothing like super interesting to really discuss about them. And the first thing is that the walls and the tent are now up in the Parisian Courtyard location. If you guys don't know, this was where Monstrose was last year, and then the year before La Llorona, and then Bride of Frankenstein and all that. So that location officially has a tent and walls. So I'm sure construction is already starting, and we might see facade construction, in the coming weeks. A facade is now being put up in the T-pad location, and my friend Kevin had a couple of things. We went to the park. He got a couple of pieces of information for me about what he saw over there, because he actually got real-time construction photos as we were setting up this recording. But basically, he said that the facade for the T-pad is about as tall from where he's looking at it. Is about as tall as Legends Collide, and possibly taller. And it's not flat. Some people thought the T-pad had like a flat wall. I think some people were commenting like, "Uh-oh, here comes Hill House," but it's like it does not look like a flat wall. You can tell from the construction. And then for the Mummy lot, his information is that it's a tad smaller than similar to The Last of Us. And if you look at pictures, it really is. It very much has the same construction beats. But however, unlike that actual facade, the booth on the right has a door, which I guess we could speculate maybe that could be for a scare actor, possibly maybe a scare actor being in the booth, which could be pretty fun. And another interesting piece is that the H-Lot tent, we previously talked about the H-Lot tent 1 that had like the super crazy facade that was on there that we were guessing what it could be. The other H-Lot finally has a tent up. It's going vertical, which is great news. And yeah, I think that's it. So thank you, Kevin, for the real-time updates.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah.
I barely understood half of that. I'm so bad at Hollywood locations. I say that every week, but like even going, I'm never going to understand. So let's go to a park I do understand, please. So we got some news today when we were recording this. Some stuff we knew was coming, but we have the official announcement. DreamWorks Land, Cinesational, a symphonic spectacular, and the Universal Mega Movie Parade have been announced. Cinesational will open on June 14th, and it's the exhilarating new show will celebrate the emotional power of music by leveraging the iconic scores and scenes from blockbuster films that have inspired Universal Orlando's past, present, and future attractions, including Warner Brothers, Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts films, Jurassic World, Jaws, Shrek, Ghostbusters, Trolls, Back to the Future, Universal Monsters, Transformers, How to Train Your Dragon, E.T., Fast and Furious, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, Minions, The Mummy, and King Kong. That is a lot of shit.
Yeah.
One more thing about the show. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say how excited I am that I mean, I was excited for it in the first place, and there's so many scores that I would obviously be excited for, but like hearing the Mummy is something I didn't fully expect, and I'm so
Yeah.
stoked for that. That is also
Yeah.
included because that is such an underrated score.
It really is.
I didn't even. I know I just read it, and I didn't even like the Mummy was just. I read it, and I didn't even think about it. So that's gonna be fun. The Mario Brothers movie, though, I understand why, but that was like,
Peaches.
oh, God. You know what? I do have to point out one thing. A character that has been with Universal Studios Florida specifically since it opened. That is a Warner Brothers movie. That they have the theme park rights to. Why
Yeah.
is there not just a little bit of Beetlejuice in this? Like just a little bit of the juice.
I
A
mean,
smidgen. It might be.
yeah. I don't know. I don't
It's
know what to tell
not.
you. Maybe he'll be in like the pre-show music or something.
He'll just be walking around the park. I should have been in that.
That is something you seem like you
So
would
we have
say.
a little bit. God. Ugh. All right. I need to talk about the terrifying details we got about this show, though. So this show will feature 228 fountains that reach heights up to 131 feet, incredible 4K projection mapping, an original composition featuring newly arranged scores meticulously crafted to each scene, and more than 600 drones.
What's
That's a
the
lot of
terrifying
drones.
part? I don't get
That's
it.
that's a lot of drones. And like that just scares me. I know what they're doing. I know they're flying up in the sky and they're not going to be near me. But what if they malfunction? There's not 600 team members sitting there flying them. These things are flying themselves. Like I've been watching a lot of medical dramas. So
I
what do you
mean,
guys think?
I know Disneyland Paris has been using them for quite a while nightly, and I haven't heard anyone getting decapitated or anything, so I think we should be fine.
I'm not worried about decapitation. I'm worried about just being attacked.
Okay, well, that hasn't happened either. So
You don't know that.
I think we would have heard.
This is my conspiracy theory. I'm telling you, I'm just terrified. I'm excited. I'm going to watch it anyways. But there's no Beetlejuice and there's 600 drones. Count me out.
What if the 600 drones make a Beetlejuice?
Oh, well then I will walk into the drones at that point. That's a different conversation. But I know both of you have much more of an attachment to a lot of these properties. So what do you guys think about this?
I was stoked for half the fucking franchises in here regardless, so I can't wait. And hopefully it is akin more to Marathon of Mayhem than what the daytime, well, I guess they aren't daytime, but regular nighttime shows have been in the past. More high energy, more heavy on the music, which it obviously sounds like it will be. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I've been let down by Lagoon shows before, so I will be careful and not get too excited. But what's included, what I saw in the concept art, what they're pitching, I'm super excited for.
I com-
Cautiously optimistic.
Yes.
I mean, I completely agree. And it's funny that you said Marathon of Mayhem because I even made a funny, like a joke tweet, but it's kind of a little bit serious that this show will have Ghostbusters. I'd assume the original. That looks the way the parade
Probably.
is leaning. So I'm not sure. It could be after, but regardless, and Ghostbusters and Universal Monsters. And part of me is like, little tiny bit of Marathon of Mayhem won't be the style at all, but just like hearing the Ghostbusters theme and the Universal Monsters, they play like Swan Lake or something like, that could be really fun. Like I'd probably really enjoy that. Plus a lot of other properties as well. Like I think this has a really good mix of stuff. That some stuff they had to put in there, but some stuff I'm surprised they did, and I'm happy they did. So I'm totally all for this, and I'm excited for the potential that this has for if they do an HHN Lagoon show in the future using all this technology. It could make for an insane show.
Yeah. Well, they didn't do all this just to use it for a seasonal.
Oh, for sure.
Summer thing, I guess. I don't know. I know a lot of this is seasonal, but like this, I expect to not be.
Oh, this will stick
like a
around.
fully.
I'm sure.
Yeah. But
I'm sure the parade will too. These
Yeah.
floats that you're about to go over, so I should let you talk, are not going to be cheap.
Yeah, I'm like, I had to read a whole like dissertation over here. So we talked about Cinesational opening June 14th. So I thought that these would be around the same time, but they are not. The parade, which my whole phone just turned. There we go. July 3rd is premiering the Mega Movie Parade, so that is weeks after.
Yep.
This will celebrate movies including E.T., Back to the Future, Jaws, Ghostbusters, Jurassic World, Illumination's Minions, and Sing, and DreamWorks Animation's Trolls and Kung Fu Panda. This will be Universal Orlando's biggest daytime parade ever. Nearly 100 performers and 13 new floats, including a 16-foot Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man atop the Ghostbusters float, and a finale with a gyrosphere, raptors, and the Tyrannosaurus Rex aboard the Jurassic World float. Wow.
So, very excited for this. One small nitpick. That logo is ugly as shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The font
Yeah.
they use, the way it's like very I don't even know how to put it. Like it just kind of looks like some animation company's logo. And I don't like it. It's bad.
I mean, that's a fair
Yeah.
complaint.
I'm just ignoring that.
I mean, the floats sound great. I'm stoked. But I haven't seen those yet. So I have one thing to talk about, and that's the ugly logo.
I just can't believe how much later it's starting than, the show or the Nighttime Spectacular. And then I believe the tribute store as well, right? Is June 14th?
Well, it doesn't have a date yet.
Oh,
Tribute
okay,
store was kind of like a secondary announcement where they're like,
yeah.
it's going to feature properties you love. We'll talk more about it later.
Well, people are working on Epic. Other things are not okay. But yeah, it's just interesting to me. I do know that like in the casting side of things, they were just doing like final callbacks this week. So
yeah, so that would be a bit early if they wanted to push it to June 14th. Just getting final callbacks, the amount of fucking rehearsals they're gonna have to do for a brand new parade of this scale, like it's
with
gonna take time.
100 performers, and from what people were saying, like these are not easy costumes to move in, from based off of the dance call. So yeah, but okay. So did I read that right? A 16-foot Stay Puffed on top of the float, not the float is 16
Correct.
feet.
Yes.
That's insane. That's insane. I'm not even a Ghostbusters.
Which means it's 16 feet tall, and it's going to look like it's like 30 feet tall or something.
And it's going to go through the streets of New York, and it's going to look fucking crazy. It's going to be what we wanted in the house.
Insane.
Which, like, that's exciting. I'm really excited to watch you guys experience.
Well, not me.
No.
I mean, it'll look great to everyone.
Yeah.
Even as not a non-huge Ghostbusters person, it'll look great.
You have a different part of the parade. Actually, you have two different parts of the parade.
I have multiple parts of the parade.
And still no Beetlejuice for He's standing at the corner of horror.
I mean, listen, it only says including. So there's going to be more. There are 13 floats. They named...
It's true.
8
properties.
There was even more.
Yeah.
Like this is a smaller version. There were some more properties on like another paragraph someone else posted too. So I didn't even post they talked about. Well, I mean, they talked about what Jaws is going to be essentially, and stuff. So like, there's more information out there. I just I threw the small one on here because we don't want to give everything away.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some more stuff if people are interested in that.
This is going to be crazy, especially like this is going to be a seasonal offering again. Like this is something that's going to come back. I'm assuming like Cinesational, but like this has to go away for Holiday Parade and for Mardi Gras.
Yeah, that's it. And I think this is their new daytime parade, period. The end.
Good for them.
For several years, at least.
They said, we're opening Epic. Don't ask us for nothing on this side now.
Well, they're giving us something good to go out with, right?
Hey, I'm not mad about it. I love a lot of these properties too, so...
Before we fully move on from this, we can tie this into HHN, and that's a reminder that the past 2 years we have not had a parade, and that means they've been able to put out large sets permanently for HHN. That's not going to happen this year and moving forward. So what we saw for like Graveyard Deadly Unrest, Vamp 69, stuff like that they've just left out in the streets, they can't do that anymore. We're going back to the time where you just had every prop you had that wasn't like some small way off to the side prop is now going to have to be fucking brought back out daily. So it's going to kind of scale down the props we get for scare zones in New York and Hollywood, most specifically.
Yeah. It also, I feel like it affects operations a lot because if that takes a while to get out, especially like opening weekend, Like,
Mhm.
they can't open that gate. They can let some of us out and stay and scream into certain areas, but they can't open that front gate. So this is something we haven't had to do for a couple years. So there might be some growing pains with this as well.
I know it's only been 2 years, but I was so fucking used to those, like, just props
I
sitting out
know.
in Hollywood, just
Ugh.
every day, just massive ones. Oh man,
Well, that's less construction update TikToks for us, I guess.
yeah, I guess so. Back to lighting, and that's about it.
Ugh, more lighting rig videos. God.
But just wanted to note that this is a huge HH impact as well.
Absolutely is.
All right, so let's move on to HHN Orlando news. Wow, has it been this long since we recorded? I'm sorry, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we're slacking. Uh,
Yeah.
as you probably know, there is now a black version of the Where Horror Lives shirt. The orange one that everyone complained about. Well, black one now. You can get that in the parks or online. It does look better in my opinion, but like I kind of think it takes away the fun now that I have
Mm-hmm.
them both side by side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that for sure. Like the orange was unique, right? I mean, it still is, like unique. Like, oh no, we don't
Hmm.
have an orange HHN shirt. We haven't had one in a very long time. Um, I don't think I'm gonna buy either, to be honest, unless they go on sale if they sell them later in the season. But like the orange, if I don't know, the orange one's fun, and the black one is better for sure, but it lacks that uniqueness,
But it's still also not a great shirt. So like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna want the super unique one because the black one's not good enough to buy on its own regardless.
Yeah.
I honestly think this is the most unique HHN shirt we've ever had on orange. On black, it's just kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's different, but it's not great. It's fine, I guess. We've talked about this plenty. You know our thoughts.
Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, offering it on black was just to please people, and
Mhm.
they did it. And, I like the tagline. I hope that sticks around for this year. And I'll buy it on something I actually like a cup or something
I
like that.
can't tell what the tagline is yet because the website
Yeah.
like says both. Like I saw a YouTube ad and it had where horror lives and it also said fear cannot be contained. But then one of our mods, Alex, was like searching through the website and on the website it just said fear cannot be contained. Like when you're just searching it up on Google.
Mm.
I don't know which one is the tagline yet. Like I can't tell.
I get the sense from what we've seen. Fear cannot be contained is the tagline. Where horror lives is more akin to See You in the Fog from last
That
year.
Yeah,
makes sense.
that's more what I meant. Like something like that, or like I don't know, because Never Go Alone was like the tagline, but everybody made fun of it. So I don't think anyone ever like took it as the tagline. They're like, oh, fuck it, never go alone.
Mhm.
So this, like having one that actually like sounds good, I would rather Where Horror Lives. Like, I
I do
like
think
that
that's the
more.
better one of the two, to be honest, but I'm
I don't
not
know.
hopeful that that's what's happening here.
Fear Cannot Be Contained is like, that immediately makes me think icons.
And it's also it's just kind of that generic never go alone kind of thing, Like
Yeah.
it's just a random blah saying that's horror esque.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or I feel like where horror lives is more like, yeah, we're the shit. This is the biggest haunt event in the world. What's up?
Yeah. Confident.
Exactly. Are either great as a tagline,
No.
but I like where horror lives better.
Completely agree.
Any, let's move on to something a little more fun.
Yes.
Did you have something to say about that, Jonathan?
No,
Sorry.
I wanted to take this one because like
Oh,
yeah,
go ahead. You can have
because
it. Go for it.
I like to I don't know I don't like to brag, but I know I'm definitely one of the first. Me and my friend were one of the first people who noticed it. We're like, what the hell?
Well, you didn't post
Because
it.
I can't post it. We don't post
I'm not
from
blaming you.
there.
I'm just saying. No one knows you were the first one because you didn't post
It's
it.
true. That's true. That's true. I've tried not to post from those areas. Thank you very much. But you're right. But it was funny. We went to Anilac. It's like, all right, let's you can look around that area. That's been a known thing. We went just we're like, all right, let's just see what we see, and we're like, oh shit, that's a big ass tent. And it turned out they both were being put up like that day. And what we're getting to is the new sprung tents are now put up. I think they're like officially all tarped and everything now by this
Mm-hmm.
point. And they are big. They are really big. When you look at it from animal actors, you think it's close to animal actors because how big it is, because of how big it is, but it's not. It's actually at the whole other end of the park. It's kind of absolutely, absolutely insane. And before we even get to the new permit thing, that's the second part of this news. Have you guys seen the tents, the pictures? What do you guys think?
They're huge. I mean, we also know their actual dimensions
Mhm.
generally, right?
Yeah.
Like they're big. They're very big for sprung tents. What
Yeah.
those dimensions don't show us is how fucking tall those things are.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like from an eye far away, they look nearly as tall as the fucking parade warehouses.
Mhm.
They're
Yeah.
huge.
I would believe that they're, if not the same height, very close. Because these are like, so the sprung tents we currently have, the old ones, are sprung tents that were made 20 years ago. These are 2024 sprung tents. So they have been upgraded. This is probably a whole new, we've seen it. It's a new design. They probably also sprung for, um, they probably sprung for like
Boo.
the, hey, get over it. I didn't even mean to do that. They probably sprung for like the bigger, better model, knowing that like, hey, the ones that we bought as a temporary thing have been here for almost 20 years. So like obviously this is an investment. Let's do it.
I,
So that's a big boy.
I will say these look like they will have to be taken down annually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They look
They
like straight
absolutely
up
do.
tarps versus like the hard plastic, whatever the material is of the sprung tents, they kind of look permanent,
Yeah.
right? Sprung tents look permanent. These
Mm-hmm.
look more like heavy duty, massive versions of the Men in Black tent.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I think that these are. And they'll probably be able to survive, like hurricane force winds for a couple months. Like,
Mhm.
God forbid, if it happens. But like I do agree these look like something that they'll be taking down. But they're huge. I'm very excited for the possibility of like cool facades and sets. We've had great, facades and sets in the little sprung tents. Just so funny that those are the little ones now because they're
Mhm.
massive.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's huge.
But
And these have a lot more space in front of and around them compared to the current
mhm.
ones, so they can
Oh
really
my
go
god.
out on the facades, I feel.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I am so excited, except for the walk.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to that, Jonathan. How's the walk gonna look?
I mean, still not going to be great. But a new permit has been found for queuing improvements that has. If you guys look from like a like a map or whatever, there's like storage containers and like a trailer on a plot of land next to the new sprung tents, and essentially that's all going to be relocated somewhere else for like a new queue area. I wasn't able to really look at the permit like too closely. I didn't have much time, but I know like that area is where they're planning to like have a lot of the queue. And I know one of my friends like has some ideas about like maybe they enter through here and exit through here and all that. But we still don't know exactly how they're gonna do it yet. But I think this is good news for sure.
And that's what I was hoping for with all the space they have surrounding it, right? That they can really
Mhm.
control what the queue looks like. And it seems like they're doing that, luckily. Um, because I think, obviously, as we've seen over the past couple of years, they've heavily improved what the queue experience is, but it's still really limited in the space they have for the current sprung tents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is definitely going to be more akin to like what we see for the new parade warehouse, like where you saw Last of Us last year, right? Like that kind of queue setup going this way, like a full
Mm.
platform all the way the fuck down. It's going to be cleared land underneath, so to really avoid any potential flooding or any scenarios like that.
So I have a question then. If we're doing that all the way back there, do you think we're going back to the times of porta potties?
I think so.
Yeah,
I
I think
do.
we
I
have
think we're
to.
going to have porta
That's too
potties back
far.
there because it's one thing to get back there.
Hmm.
It's another to get all the way the fuck back from there.
Hmm. That's really far.
Yeah, because typically when you go all the way back there, you've cut closer to the park to Sprung Tent 1.
Hmm.
Now, you're not cutting closer to the park. You're going about the same distance, but further away from the park. So that's going to add minimum 5 minutes of walking compared to Sprung
Oh
Tent
my
1, I'd
god.
say. Minimum.
Oh my god.
So
This
yeah,
is
I
gonna
think
be
I
rough.
think we need porta potties back there somewhere for sure.
Even just a row of them between the 4 tents, just somewhere.
Yeah, I mean you don't need like a ton, like just like
No.
4 porta potties total, maybe.
Yeah, I don't even think they used to have that many back
No,
in
2. It
what?
was usually like 2.
No, I'm thinking like I remember in line for like Slaughter Cinema or something in like
Mm.
28. We were like by like 4 or 5 porta potties over there. They used to like, because remember that's when the line used to go down there and then
Yeah,
wrap around the
yeah. No, it
portables.
was several.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Not the like exit ones that they normally have for like
Gotcha.
the parade
Yeah,
buildings.
yeah.
There's got to be something, because I could not make it if I'm gonna have a chug a drink and then go through a house. So
Yeah, I would get in trouble sometimes for sure. You know, you chug a drink, go through the house, you get out, you're like, oh shit.
I thought you were saying you would get yelled at. I'm like, what were you doing?
No.
Like, Jeff, you
I
can't
don't
do
need it that
that.
bad. Oh my god.
It's a theme park.
All
Oh
right,
my
I'm gonna
goodness.
move on then. After that,
Yeah.
so we're gonna hop over to the Fast and Furious location, where the tents have now popped up, and if you've experienced walking to the Fast and Furious entrance in the past years and seeing where the tents are, there's a decent gap between that and the wall of Fast and Furious. Now the tent's like right on the wall,
Mhm.
right on that fence, and it's interesting that it's that close. And have we confirmed whether they're larger at all, or if it's literally just them being shifted at this point?
So what I heard, and this, this is, I don't know if this is true or not, but one of my friends looks at permits, and I think I understood him correctly. But if I didn't, that's my fault. But from what I heard is that the Chucky tents were smaller, than the Blumhouse tents, and that these tents are now back to the size of the Blumhouse tents. So last year
But they're
we had
still,
a smaller space.
closer to the fence than Blumhouse
Oh
was.
yeah, absolutely.
Blumhouse wasn't that close.
No.
Hmm.
This seems
Didn't they change the orientation of the tent though? I thought that was something we talked about like a month ago.
The orientation, no, it's literally just like the same.
Oh,
Like it's sitting in the same
about it not
direction. It's
being in the
just
same way.
it's like all the way the fuck up to the fence now.
Hmm.
Like a couple feet separated from the fence versus like 10 feet separating it from the fence.
I wonder.
Like the exit fence?
Yeah.
What fence?
So like the fence, you know, when you walk into Fast and Furious, that fence on your right.
The one that you exit the house from. Like you're leaving the house and then you
Well, yeah,
walk
the
through
one
that
you like
gate.
wrap around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So
Okay.
it's like right next to it now, like right up on it.
Maybe there's a bigger in between part,
Maybe.
like an outside
Don't know.
part. I don't know, like all of Hollywood, Parisian Courtyard kind of houses.
It's possible. But regardless, it is closer. And you know how they usually, by this point, actually by like February last year, they had already shut down the queue space that they use for the house. Still wide open at this moment.
Oh,
They're using the full queue for the attraction at this moment. So that is interesting as well.
Don't understand why, because like you said, it usually starts very early, like February, around that time. I don't know why they would wait this, I don't know, like wait this long to close it, to make that area like a house. I guess it could just be like they're building a whole new 2 new sprung tents right now, so maybe like they're spread thin or something. So maybe this is just later on the agenda, but
and a whole theme
I
park.
don't know.
This is getting pretty late at this
It
point.
is.
Could this tie into the fact that now technically, if you have like the same size tent from Blumhouse, you moved it 10 feet, that's additional house space suddenly. So they aren't going to use inside the house as house space,
It's very possible.
or inside the queue as house space.
I could see that.
Or what if it's just a small amount and they don't need that much time now? Instead, like
That is true.
they just need August.
Well, I will say, yep. Fast and Furious is confirmed to be closing August 19th through November 3rd for a seasonal closing. August 19th. The event
like-
opens the 30th.
Yeah.
It will be having team member previews 28th at the latest.
Mm-hmm.
You need it done before that, too. Like, you can do last minute touches up until then, but, like, structurally, it has to be, like, done.
Yeah.
There's no
Because
way. There's no
You'll
way.
have had to have had inspections like way before that, because all the houses have to be inspected for safety.
I could see them just starting really late, like maybe coming into May, they're going to close it down and really pump
Mm,
it out. But that is just very strange compared to what we've seen the past 2 years, where the latest it closed was, I think, early March.
maybe like
Correct me if
Memorial
I'm wrong.
Day. They're waiting for like those
Oh,
crowds to leave. I know that's so late,
that
but
is so late. Again,
I don't know.
they go through not just like one safety check. There are
Hmm.
many.
Yeah,
They have to do it for several things and several steps along the way.
I don't know.
I mean, is it possible they literally just go in late May and pump it all out in a month? Yeah, sure. Of course it is. But that is just very unlike HHN to do.
Something's fishy here. I know we're gonna talk about it maybe in like the last point here, but something's interesting here. I don't know if they're just gonna do the same thing they always do. I think something's gonna change.
Well, let's add some strange context so we can finish up this conversation. Um, Alex has found some permits for us, and it seems that the cost for the 310s in this location is double from what they cost the past 2 years. It used to be ranging from 90 to 100,000. This year it's at 220,000.
What?
What the
What?
hell is going on in here?
What the?
Yeah,
Is that
don't know.
okay? So is this cost just for putting the tents up or for the whole house?
I could not answer that
How did
question.
that? How
That
does
is
that work?
for that's a question for
So I
Alex.
think typically that includes basically putting up the full structure.
Okay, no like set decor, no like or like
Yeah,
anything like
exactly.
that.
Basically, I think it doesn't include decor, but like the entire
Just bare walls.
structure of the building or tent or whatever it may be.
What the fuck? Like,
So the only thing I can think is that this will be a fully enclosed, like have a roof
oh,
and
the whole
smoke
way.
detectors and everything in it, because that is what really jacks up costs, and that's why they usually try to avoid putting up a roof because it makes the cost insane. You have to go through so many more checks and
You have to put
balances.
a
You have to put
sprinkler
the smoke
system in.
detectors, the sprinkler system, exactly.
Yep.
But
And in a
doubling in
tent, it
cost, it
doesn't have
sounds like
that.
maybe they're doing something
Yeah.
like that.
Did sometimes the permit like says what the upgrades are. This does
Not
we don't
this
know.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the typical like putting up a tent structure kind of deal.
Damn. Double is like that's crazy. That's
And
crazier than 600 drones to
and
me.
that's not just inflation because the other ones aren't jumping in this
No.
cost at all. They're staying about exactly the same as far as I know.
Wow. And I mean, we'll get to the spec map, but this is still we don't know.
Yeah. Any last thoughts about what's going on in Fast and Furious before we get into the spec map?
It'll be better than the ride.
Well, that's safe to say.
I,
I
I
mean,
I really think the layout, like we've been talking about, I think the layout of the house might change. Like it seems like everything's pointing to something being different here, and I don't think what we're gonna see for this year. This is all just spec based on what we've been talking about, but like I don't think what we're gonna see this year is gonna have like the same loud layout as we've seen the past 2 years. I think something is changing. I cannot tell you what that is, but it seems like something's going on in there.
it's just one big house of vortex tunnel.
Fuck yeah.
The walls are just constantly spin. I could with vertigo now. Could not be me.
All right, well, let's move on to the fun stuff. We have two new spec maps, Volume 2 from Horror Night Nightmares, one for Orlando, one for Hollywood. And of course, we're going to start in Orlando. Where else? Who wants to kick us off with where we're going?
I guess I'll start because this first part is not about what's on the map. It's about what's not on the map. It's a big change from the last map version 1, and basically one of the first things noticed is that the Sleepwell logo, which was like the moon and the stars, that was from the Sleepwell logo from HHN 17's Nightmare on Elm Street house, is gone. It's not there. It's vanished. Um, and in addition to this on the map itself, a rumor has popped up from multiple HHN insiders that A Nightmare on Elm Street may actually not be coming to the event after all, and it looks like this map is also pointing towards that. And how do we feel about Nightmare on Elm Street not being at the event? This might not being at the event this year.
Sounds about right. I I don't know. I would like to see Freddy. I said that before, but it didn't feel right to me. Like seeing it on the map and hearing speculation. I don't know. I can't elaborate on why. It just didn't feel right for this year.
I will say it is disappointing though, especially we'll get to it. But looking at what the IP lineup currently looks like, it could have used a Nightmare on Elm Street type property for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna lie. If this, ends up being true and whatever, I'm I'm gonna be really bummed because this was absolutely out of all the rumored IPs from the maps and whatever, this was absolutely top of my list. A Nightmare on Elm Street. I love the first film a lot, and I actually just went on a binge and watched the rest of them or most of the rest of them, and I really was like, oh god, they can do this and they could do this, and I was getting really, really excited and hyped. Um, but without this in the lineup that at least we have on the map here, I don't think I'm excited for any of the other IPs at all. This was the one that was, we're gonna have more maps and stuff, but this is the one that was gonna, save the rumored IP lineup, I guess, for me personally on a
Mm-hmm.
personal level. And if it's not there, I don't know. This might be the first year that there's no IP at like number one on my hype list, or even like, I don't know, even top five.
I get that. I kind of feel the same. It's a very meh lineup for the IPs right now for me. So Freddy would have made it a little more fun.
For sure.
Well, let's move forward and see what is speculated currently outside of Freddy. So this is a kind of an unchanged, mostly unchanged thing that we're going to talk about, and that's Soundstage 23A, which had the code name Flan in the permits. It was a picture, basically of from Mexico down through South America. It's the same thing, except they've added tree symbols near where the Amazon rainforest would be. Could that literally just to point us to a more specific location or kind of atmosphere? It seems like it, right?
Yeah. I don't know what
Yeah.
else it could be pointing towards.
I don't know. Yeah. I was looking up if there's any like specific Amazon rainforest monsters or like lore. There's a wolf.
A wolf.
El Tunchi is an
Oh.
evil spirit that haunts the jungle and terrorizes people with an eerie whistling sound.
Ooh.
He's an amalgamation of the souls that have perished in the rainforest. Oh, there's 10 Amazonian legend list.
Holy shit. Well,
Jesus.
that makes sense. It's a very big rainforest, obviously,
Yeah.
and big region
It-
of this world. But one of the things that this would kind of line up with is that many have speculated that we will get, if not exactly, something along the lines of what HHN Hollywood had last year, which is Monstros, the Monsters of Latin America.
Yeah.
Would you guys be interested in seeing anything like that at all? Or do you think it would be
Absolutely.
like that or something just sort of similar?
Absolutely. I loved Monstros. I mean, I talked about it. We both did. I loved that house. I just would like to see it adapted either somewhere else, like, the Amazon, that'd be cool, or like something, like I said, for like East Coast Hispanic, like lore or something, just make it more relative for us because I don't know how many people grew up hearing of Tualapuchi and El Silbon over here.
Mhm.
I mean, even La Lechuza. I mean, we're on
Yeah.
the East Coast. It's really none of those apply, especially the East Coast. We're going to get more South American type things
Mhm.
in Central Florida and Florida as a whole, right? For the most part. Um, so it would make sense if they kind of took that concept and pushed it more towards like South American legends overall, rather than just. I mean, I guess one of them was already South American, right? One was Uh, was it Colombian?
I think, yeah. I want to say El Sobon is
Ciobon?
Colombian.
Was he Colombian,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
I want to say he's Colombian.
But
Yeah.
if you kind of like went fully in that direction
hmm
for Orlando.
Can I tell you guys something interesting on this list I found? Number one is Mapinguari, which I'm probably saying that wrong, but it is a Yeti-like creature that resides in the
Oh no.
rainforest.
Mm.
I'm just saying, we haven't had tropical Yetis
Oh my god.
yet.
Yikes. Wow.
Uh,
Can you
Nope.
imagine?
I mean,
They
one
said
day I
Yeti
can fully
fatigue.
imagine one day, yeah.
No, Yeti fatigue at that point. Like, whew. I think this could be interesting, though. I would love to see a different take on Monstros, the monsters of South America.
Now, if I can point you in one direction, if they literally just said, let's take Monstros the way it was, but do it an Orlando way.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
What would you
Listen,
say, Duff?
I think they would absolutely knock it out of the park. I would much rather see them change it up a bit. But I think
Agreed.
they would kill it. They would absolutely kill it.
for sure.
Yeah. It'd be so
Especially
scary.
in a soundstage, I think taking advantage of that space available to them. Because I think my only issue for Monstros in Hollywood was that it felt too rushed.
hmm
Every legend was too rushed, and I feel like they could flesh that out a bit more here.
They
So,
could give each one
Yeah.
so much more time.
mhm.
Really make the
Yeah.
settings like individual to them. I mean Orlando's set work, like I think the sets alone, if they did this type of Monstros of Latin America, would unfortunately blow Hollywood's out of the water, because we're Orlando. It's just how it works. And that could help really differentiate each monster by making sure the sets are very, distinct to them. There was only one monster, the last one in the house, that I think had like distinct sets in Hollywood's. The other two kind of just blended together. So Orlando sets could really help that type of house.
Agreed. Well, should we move on to the next one if someone would like
Please,
to?
I've been waiting. Of course, I'm taking it. Thank you. Um, so, Soundstage 22, we have a picture of the female gender symbol with Bride of Frankenstein's wig on it. We already had a female monster rumor, so this lines up with that. Um, I would like to say that I said something about female monsters a couple of months ago. I'm just gonna pat myself on the back for that. But yeah, I kind of love this idea because I think we're kind of running out of monsters. Besides Creature, obviously, I know. But I don't think it's his time yet. I think that'd be a killer 35 hours. I've been saying that. But this makes the most sense if we've gone from, the Abe monsters to the backseat monsters to now we can adapt kind of what Hollywood did with Scream Queens, The Zone, and maybe do something else. Or even, I see it here, a Bride of Frankenstein Live sequel, possibly. What do you guys think?
Hmm. I think it makes more sense to kind of do the gender bent monsters, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of a strange concept because you already have existing female monsters to choose from, but it is kind of limited. So I get why you would go that direction over that. Um, I feel like maybe a tad too soon for a straight up Bride of Frankenstein Live sequel, especially with monsters and the way you can kind of dig into so many things, you know? Um, so that'd be my take on it. Regardless, I think we have at least a solid foundation of where this is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. We don't know, like honestly, we don't know anything really. The rumor
No.
the rumor doesn't give much to think about, because it's a little there's no locations or anything that are rumored. It's just the concept. So I would totally be into it. I'd like to, learn more if this rumor ends up being true about like what direction they're going. Like, is it something like 29's monsters where we just kind of hop from place to place to place, or is it more unmasked where we're in a specific area, and and
Mm.
they're all in there and there's like a story tying them all. um I'm not sure which I'd prefer, because I like both ways doing it. But yeah, I just want to know more about this, but I'm definitely intrigued and excited to see where this rumor ends up going.
Yeah. I also think that this is smart if this is the way that they're going, because I think they're capitalizing on all of like the female led horror and horror adjacent we've had in the last like 6 months. Like Lisa Frankenstein, Abigail, Late Night with the Devil had women in it. Like we're kind of capitalizing on that. And I think that's kind of cool.
For sure.
All great films, by the way.
Yeah, I haven't seen two of them, but boy, did I love Lisa Frankenstein.
good.
I want to see the other two.
Oh,
But
I think Abigail's probably the best of them too.
Yeah.
Abigail's so
really,
good, so fun.
I have it on my. I think B and I might go see both of them soon. So we'll see.
Enjoy. You definitely should. And Abigail is definitely worth a theater watch. 100%.
Okay, heard.
All right. I got this one. This one's super interesting. Here we go. Soundstage 23B, S'mores, and it's an IP, and it didn't change at all. It's, I mean, at this point, there's a there's a logo of the car that was that was the Ecto one in Ghostbusters, and everyone thinks this clue is Ghostbusters, and it's probably Ghostbusters. And yeah,
It's
it's
Ghostbusters. I
Ghostbusters.
think
Like,
we can move
I
on
don't
probably.
know. No, there was
Oh,
that one guy on the Facebook group that said it's Freddy because Freddy turned himself into a
oh
Cadillac.
Jesus.
I'm not even kidding. That was like 2 days ago on the Facebook group.
I feel like I saw that like passing by.
Yeah, I scrolled by it and had to scroll back up because I was like, "You gotta be kidding me."
well, that's somehow better than everyone saying it's Christine, who is, I believe, a Chrysler.
Not a
So
Yeah, Christina's a Chrysler, not a Cadillac, and that is a very important part of that story. And I'm so sorry if you forgot that, people.
I mean, I get it. The logos are pretty slightly sort of similar. So
Oh, I don't know cars, so who am I? I don't know Hollywood locations or cars.
all right. Well, let's just move on to another one that we can quickly breeze through because it hasn't changed, and I think we kind of know what it is. That's Soundstage 24A, where we had the code name of Puddin'. That is the mute symbol. It changed locations this time. It wasn't a sprung. It's now in Soundstage 24A. It's kind of universally accepted that that is probably a quiet place.
Yeah.
Which iteration? That is still up for discussion. We'll see. Hopefully, day one. I think that makes the most sense. But
Gotta be quiet.
it seems like a quiet place is coming to HHN this year.
Hooray.
That's not a sentence I thought I would ever say.
No,
Like,
yeah,
legitimately.
it always felt like one of those like far off rumors, right? Like we've had it
Yeah.
since like 29 or 30, one
Yeah.
of the two. Like here we are.
Yeah. Yay. I lost where we were at. I'm so sorry. Where are we? Okay, there we are. I'm not working with my normal setup here, people. Forgive me. So next up is Soundstage 24B, and that is fudge. This is now a wrapped piece of candy. It was previously a lollipop. I know the consensus is Sweet's Revenge on this one, so I don't know what else to add to that. I think we kind of spoke on it. Do you guys have anything?
I think honestly, it makes it more of a sweet revenge that they're trying to hint towards just generic candy versus a lollipop specifically, which people took different ways. I don't know how far you can take a piece of candy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially at HHN and an original. Yeah, it's probably Sweet Revenge. I don't hate that at all, but I think it's kind of one of those things like, all right, we kind of feel comfortable. This has probably come to the event at this point, so the discussion isn't as fun anymore.
Yeah. It's funny because last spec map, I think a lot of us, I was like, this one probably not staying on the next map, Like they were just like, my brain was like, oh, it was just put on there because all the code names are sweets. So it's just let's throw something here. Sweet Revenge was talked about because of those code names in the community. So let's just throw it there and it will change the next map. But no, it's still here. And there's been other originals on this map that have changed. And this is one that changed to even, like you said, to make it even more clear what it is. So yeah, it's looking more likely that this might actually happen.
And it's not only this spec map that's indicating that. Other insiders have pointed towards Sweet Revenge coming to the event.
Yep.
It's just one of those kind of. It's coming from everywhere now.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Let's move on. This one's super interesting too. Fast and Furious, which is Pi. This one's great. It's an unknown original, but there is something a little cool about this. There is, and that it originally was an unknown IP on the last map, which means doing the very hard math. There, according to this map, will only be 4 IPs this year, and it'll be a 4-6 split, 4 IPs, 6 originals. And how do we feel about that? And why do we think it's a 4-6 split with this IP lineup? I'm sorry, it's a weird lineup, and to not have, like, I really don't think there is a legit. There are headliners that they will, like, that they could make headliners, but there's nothing huge that, like, we've had in the past couple of years, at least according to my brain. I could be completely wrong.
I don't want to say they lost something necessarily, but I think something people don't take into consideration is that Universal plans many things. Like, they don't just come into the year and say, these are the 10 things we're going to do, and they do those 10 things.
Mhm.
You know, they plan backups and multiple IPs. I think maybe this year they really just came into it with, like, there's a couple additional IPs. If they didn't work out, they were just cool with doing the 4-6 split.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where we ended up. So something like maybe Nightmare on Elm Street, maybe Five Nights at Freddy's, just shit like that. They were like, maybe we can do this, but if we decide not to, or if we can't get the rights, then whatever. A 4-6 split works this year too.
Yeah. They're confident in what they can put out, that like they probably don't feel like they need to rest on like a heavy amount of IPs. If they can, that's great. That's more money.
That's true. It's also less chance for a hell block.
Yeah, that's true. Well, or you just get a hell block on a 3-7 split instead.
That's also true.
Oh goodness. I don't think I can handle another hell block.
But there is something else we can talk about this. Talk regarding this location. I want to reiterate that this came out before the spec map, like I think a week before. So choose what you want to think regarding this. You know, we're just talking about all speculation that comes from insiders and stuff like that. We're just relaying information. I don't know. I don't know which way this is leaning at all, to be honest. But Alicia Stella is, and this is to be very clear, not a rumor. She made it very clear to not say rumor in any capacity. But is speculating / theorizing, and also Alicia Stella is an insider in the community. Forgot to say that. But speculating and theorizing that the rumored weekend zone, that she brought out that rumor. She talked about the weekend zone rumor first, might be upgraded / replaced to a house, become a weekend house in the Fast and Furious location. And she speculates that the reason it would go in Fast and Furious is that if it is a replacement / upgrade from a zone, that they might not have a choice, as all other locations are already spoken for. And I have thoughts on this, but I'm interested what you guys think about. Do we think this, like, we might be getting a weekend house, or are we still leaning with the more, with the map that says our unknown original?
If I had to guess, I think it's probably going to be the 4-6 split with no weekend as a house, at least. I think there's very well could be a weekend presence in Orlando still. And I would also like to point out that Alicia Stella is still out there saying, hey, maybe the spec map's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. So Alicia Stella is not just like threw this out there and left it alone. Alicia Stella is still like, I mean, weekend could still come.
Mm-hmm.
So I trust Alicia Stella a lot. I mean, as far as Universal insiders as a whole go, about as consistent as you can get, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I'm buying it as a house right now. At this moment, I don't know if I am.
What do you think, Jess?
I wish you could see my face right now. This is the one time I wish we did video. I am very okay with a 6-4 split. and no weekend house. I think we all know that. She has no other speculation on if this would be like a new weekend house or anything like that. Just talking is what you said, right?
Yeah, she's just speculating,
I kind of
theorizing.
glassed over.
I would assume the house, if they had a weekend house, it wouldn't just be what we had before. It'd be like a new, like a new album or something, like that.
Right. Still does not excite me. I would rather it be a zone, 100%. I think that makes more sense to me. Like, it's a party. That's the vibe I want. I would not be mad at that. I don't think I can mentally handle another weekend house, and that's not me doing the bit anymore. I need a break. I need like more of a break than that, I think. Than 2 years? Not even a year, technically. So I'm gonna stop talking because I know that's not what people want to hear, but I'm sorry. That's how I feel about it.
No, I mean, I totally understand that. And like, my thing is that I don't want to get hyped for a weekend house, especially with the way the spec map is looking right now. And I know a lot of other insiders are like, it seems like insiders, like some are split. Like some are like, yeah, maybe weekend. Some are like, no IP4, there's only 4.
Mhm.
So like, it's so mixed right now that even though I do trust Alicia still, I don't want to have any hope for it, because if I do, I will be like very sad if it just ended up being nothing after all. And I do think there's a world where, and we'll get to it later on the next map, there could be confusing like mix-ups between coasts too. So that's why I'm gonna hold off for now, because I think that
that's what I was gonna say.
I think that's a possibility of what may be happening here.
The wires are getting crossed. We're crossing the streams, huh?
That was a reference.
I did a Ghostbusters joke. I did it. Are you proud of me?
I
See, I can shit on the weekend and be positive about something else I don't like.
True.
All right, let's move on to Sprung Tent 3, which is going to have a symbol of popcorn. We all love popcorn, right? A couple things that I've heard people throw out there. One is the usher, which I don't think so, guys. I'm sorry. The other, and I am hopeful, and the more common option, Slaughter Cinema 2.
Please, for the love of God.
Yeah, I would absolutely love this. I think most people would love this. It's been long enough, in my opinion, for sure. It was 2018 when we saw it, and I think it's a good time for a sequel. One of the best HHN houses of all time. It's great. You can work it around anything. Come on, let's do it. It's time.
I don't disagree. And I'm not saying I wouldn't be excited to see it. I just personally have felt like Slaughter Cinema 2 was something that we hold for like an anniversary. And I'm not saying we have to hold it for 40. I'm saying like a 35.
Why?
Because people have been pining for it that bad that it feels like something that like it's just that big to me. It's like a carry. It's like something like that.
But I think off years need that too.
I'm not saying they don't, but I'm saying off years also give us the Scarecrows, the Slaughter Cinemas. They give us stuff like that. They give us graveyard games. They give us these all-timer houses so that the sequels can come back at an anniversary. And then you're not as mad if it's not great. Because my other argument to that is it took so long to get like enough, quote unquote, bad house ideas that were good enough to be these movies. It took maybe not 28 years, but it took a while. So that I don't know if they've done it in 4 years.
It's not like they spent all 28 years trying to come up with those concepts.
But I'm saying
most of them were done in the normal time,
I know. But it's just those are my reasons as to why I can see them not doing it this year. I don't think it's not happening. I'm just saying if in any world it doesn't happen, I can see them doing it to hold off for an anniversary, like a 5 anniversary or something like that.
Sure, I could see it. I don't think it's necessary to wait for an anniversary.
I want it this year. Trust me. I'm not saying I don't want to see it.
I do have an idea of why it actually might be a good time. Just like my thoughts. I know it was rumored in the past, and I still think the rumor's strong. I just think everything got mixed up with parade buildings and all that. I still think these sprung tents are on the old ones are on their last legs. I think there's going to be a time where they're going to have to go away and get replaced. They've been here for I don't know how many years now, but I think I know Alicia Stell was like, there was a point where they might have to be moved because of Simpsons and construction and all that. I think there's a world where these might still be the last years where these two sprung tents, sprung tent 1 and 2, will be gone. And if that's true, and if that happens, I could see Slaughter Cinema being a great farewell to them, considering it is one of the highest rated sprung tents in that location. And I wanted to bring this up because one of the code names for Sprung Tent 2 is Cobbler, and that fits really, really, really well with popcorn. It's like, cobbler, corn on the cob, like, stuff like that. And I think there's a world where if this rumor is pointing towards Slaughter Cinema 2 and that's what it is, where it actually gets moved to Cobbler, which is one of the original Sprung tents. That's just my weird theory. Like it's a lot of like
I would not be mad if it moved to the tent it was in originally, but I think the cobbler is a reach.
I think it works. I don't know.
It works.
I don't know.
I do think it's a bit of a reach too.
Yeah, it works.
Outside of that, I do think the theory makes sense.
Yes.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just
Hey, I like where you're going. When I threw out female monsters a couple months ago, that was me just wishful thinking, and look at what's on the spec map now. So
that's true.
Wishful thinking. We're used to HHN. We got HHN brains. We can kind of put the puzzle pieces together. We got the red lines connecting all the spec maps and the rumors to each other.
That's true.
Also,
it's Jonathan's brain.
You're right. Their life is on its last leg. They were built 18 years ago. They are almost done. They are past their life. Actually, they're just still cooking somehow.
They're graduating high school, class of 2024.
Yeah. Jonathan, they're almost as old as you. Think about that.
Oh my god.
They're almost done. So you're right. They're going to be gone soon. And I could see HHN being like, well, let's give them a farewell with some iconic shit from these houses locations. But I could see that more in like a full mashup form. So if you're saying like Slaughter Cinema, including every sprung tent, every great sprung tent in it, maybe.
Yes,
maybe.
I think they could literally do Slaughter like the this is fun fan brain, like the house Slaughter Cinema, right? That's what it is. The entrance is Cary Drive and you're doing the same movies, but the movies are like
Dollhouse of the
funny
Damned
versions of past houses in the sprung tents.
They don't even have to be funny. They can be like Scarecrow. Yeah. It can be scenes, and it can be a new way to do a mashup house. Kind of like, it's actually exactly like Cinema Slasher at Knott's, because some of those were old houses.
Yeah, that's true.
That's fucking cool. I like that. Do it this year. I rescind what I said. Doesn't have to wait for an anniversary. I want it now. Right now. God, now I'm excited. And if we're okay to move on, I'm going to crush some people's hearts.
Please.
Not with what's listed on here, but Sprung Tent number 4. We had no code name for this. It's an IP. There's a lantern symbol. Now, this lines up with the Insidious rumors. We've been hearing that for a while. There was a new Insidious last year, I believe. That was the 5th movie last year.
I think it was last year, yeah.
Yeah. So that lines up with that. It's a Blumhouse franchise or a Blumhouse movie now. So I can see that happening. That would be our Blumhouse representation for the year. But before I ask y'all's opinion on that, I want to touch on the Bray Wyatt of this all, because I've been seeing that a lot. And I know you guys kind of don't know anything about that besides what I've told you. So Bray Wyatt was a WWE wrestler. He unfortunately passed away last year. And he was spooky, his whole thing, and he's changed his gimmick a couple times. Full like horror gimmick. And I've been asking for a house, me and a million other people, for years for this character. They've done The Undertaker before. Peacock and WWE, obviously they have a relationship. The man died less than a year ago. I don't see TKO, who owns WWE now. I don't see them being comfortable with doing a haunted house based off of him just yet. If they're going to do it, I think we wait for an anniversary of his passing or an anniversary of The Fiend, which is the character it would probably be based around, or Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family. I just don't think that his wife and kids would be okay with that right now. So let's kind of wheel that back and think about the fact that it's been less than a year. So what do you guys think of Insidious? Now let's move on from that.
It's been rumored, and it makes sense. And yeah, that's all I got. It'd be a fine
Yeah.
IP, I guess.
I mean, yeah, I think it will, like, if it happens and this rumor ends up being true, it will be a fine, good house. Like, I know the last in 25s was good and people liked it. I don't have much attachment to this property at all, and I did not like the movie I saw. But
Mhm.
it can work as a haunted house, and it is what it is.
Yeah. The 27 Blumhouse, the mashup, I think he was in it, right? I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure Insidious.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do that every time because I think of Insidious, but I'm really thinking of Sinister because that was the best part of the house. But it was good. I think it worked. I would like to maybe see a mashup of, I think there's 5 movies in the franchise now. That'd be kind of cool. Like a big mega Insidious house, but I don't know. I'm not upset with it, and as much as I would love Bray Wyatt, I'll take Insidious right now. It's fine.
All right. Are we all ready to move on?
Yep, let's do it.
Please.
All right, so we're going to go to Sprung Tent 1. That code name is Baklava. If you guys remember on the last map, this was a picture or symbol of a Minotaur. It is not that now. In fact, there is no Minotaur anywhere on this map. And instead is a painting of an Egyptian symbol behind ropes, like behind a stanchion, sort of like a museum exhibit, right? But before we even get to this, we have to get to the insider rumors portion of this section, because Legacy, like a week ago or about a week ago, posted a clue for a house on Blue Sky that basically said, I wonder if you already see what it is, Jess, but I wonder if you would have gotten this just like without even knowing what the answer was. But the clue was every story, tale, or memoir, and it was like in
Aida.
quotations. Mm-hmm.
That's Aida. That's a Disney musical, actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Aida was made by Disney. Sorry.
But multiple people have deciphered that this song is from a musical, and that it was sung in a Egyptian wing of a museum. And Legacy liked the comments that said that, so it's clear that's what he was going for. So with the symbol of the Egyptian exhibit, or maybe exhibit in a possible museum, like the painting and whatever, and this clue that's pointing to an Egyptian exhibit of whatnot, do we think this could be an Egyptian exhibit, Egyptian museum type house, type original?
I can actually add on to this clue that he gave a little bit. It's not
Yes.
just in a museum. Her statue actually comes to life.
Oh.
Mhm.
The exhibit comes to life to tell the story, and you go back in time and you find out about the two of them and how they fall in love and everything. So I can fully see this being a museum where the exhibits come to life, like kind of all a night at the museum kind of thing. And I feel like that is what he's hinting at, because that is a very specific song that is like about the show, kind of taking you back, because it's very heart-wrenching and you go back in time.
Ooh.
So I
Well,
don't know.
I'm
Yeah.
very in on that
Oh, yeah.
concept. Very, very sold.
Yeah, I mean, this is really cool. I'm kind of sad that it looks like we're moving away from the Greek house rumors that we had before. But I always thought it would be like everyone was saying Poseidon's Fury is not part of it. I'm like, why would they even do it if Poseidon's Fury is not a part of it after Dragons?
Mm.
And now it makes sense. They're not doing. It looks, the rumors are they're not doing it, and they're doing this. And I think this is a fun concept, and I can't wait to see how this rumor evolves, because I'm all in on this. This sounds cool.
Mhm.
Who's to say there's not a Grecian wing of the museum?
There could be.
That is true.
Like,
Doesn't have to be just Egyptian.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Egyptian. It could be Italian. We could have Grecian. Like we could go through a bunch.
Yep.
That's gonna be. That also could be. We've had the Pandora's box rumor a couple times in the last couple years. That could also be kind of similar to that because
Yeah.
you're in like a cabinet of curiosities in the beginning.
It's true.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Awesome.
Shall we move on to the next one then?
the corn on the cob.
The corn on the cob. Sprung Tent 2.
Listen, imagine it's there, and the RIP tour guy or unmasking tour guy goes like, "Actually, this code name was Cobbler because of corn on the cob."
Well,
Jonathan, why would they name the tent that has the corn? No, that's number one. The corn issue.
currently, it's a black and white house. Like, it's literally just a half black, half white house. Legacy has said that it's not dead exposure, but it may feel like it, but it's not a zombie house. Also says, based on the rumored description of the creatures, it doesn't seem like something Universal has done before, and doesn't have to be black and white, but for some reason is. Okay.
Interesting.
Black and white, Sweet Revenge. Got it.
I don't know, the grimoire again comes to mind, not to bring up knots again, but black and white.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad we're moving away from like the comic book black and white thing because I really did like that style in the tribute store, like the animated black and white style.
It could still be what's happening. We don't know, but
it could be. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have much to add to this one. I don't know about you guys.
There's not a lot to it.
No.
Right now. I mean, there is, but it's also very vague.
So let's just move on to the fact that Legacy also had something else to say. That's that he doesn't think that there will be just an icon, but that there will be two icons. And he quotes, icons that know of each other but are very independent of one another. What are we thinking about that?
That know each other and are very independent. I don't want to say what the community is going to scream.
What are they going to scream?
Well, my brain immediately goes to Jack and Eddie because they don't really know each other that well. But I know that's not where we're going, especially right after an Oddfellow year. It just doesn't feel right to me. I don't know.
I wouldn't expect it to be like established icons.
Yeah. Is it the Madam and Maestro from Vanity Ball?
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're very aware of each other.
Yeah, but they would just kind of do like a handoff. They didn't really do like
they're very aware of each other, though.
I know. I'm just wishful thinking at this point. I don't know, Boris and his brother that we just found out about?
Sure, why not?
What do you guys have? Like,
well, there's something floating around, but it doesn't fully make sense for this either.
There's only one house right now on this spec map. Partly because it's hard to know what any of the originals are really going to be because they're all vague and they're originals. But there's only one original here that I'm like, yeah, like this could be an icon house because I would assume if we get icons, we're going to get an icon. Actually, Legacy, I forgot to put this, but he said that like they'd almost be similar to how like Singapore does icons. I know Singapore has like multiple icon houses. I don't know if that's what he was like hinting at. But regardless, it could be maybe two icon houses or two, whatever, or he could be hinting at something else. I'm not particularly sure, but like the only one that screams anything in, like in any character that could be an icon, it's Sweet Revenge, right? Like, has to be. Why bring back that character,
I was thinking that, but like it was too on the nose. But now that we're saying that are independent of each other, okay, follow me for a second. Major Sweets can have his house in the front of the park, and who says Mrs. Sweets or Treats, whatever her name was, isn't the black and white house?
Oh,
like 50s housewife, like that's what it's giving me. Like it's the Leave It to Beaver house almost, like it's something like that. And she was giving more of that like housewife kind of a vibe, but they're not independent from each other
at all.
That's the thing.
Unless this year they are, and it's like the two of them causing havoc.
In the storyline, she's like pulls the strings and basically is making him be the face of everything, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So
Maybe her
That
house
doesn't make
is Sweet's
sense.
Revenge then, and his is the black and white
That still
house.
doesn't make sense because they're, as
I don't
characters, are not independent of each other.
know. They're very much they were always around each other. They were codependent. They're not independent.
Didn't
That's like
he
saying Jack and
also?
Chance are independent.
He also brought up the fact that it's kind of maybe more of a Singapore situation, which
Yeah.
they
Hmm.
do kind of like different houses have different icons, but they're all icons of the event at the end of the day.
Ah, okay.
So is it just kind of like we're literally just gonna have multiple icons who are completely separate? Like, here's an icon, he's in this house. Here's an icon, he's in that house.
I don't see Orlando taking that very well. Like the general, well, not the general, the crazy people, I guess.
Yeah. Well, they don't take anything very well, and we're
I
included in
know.
that.
That's true.
I will say, I'd like for Mr. Sweets to be an icon, particularly because Mr. Sweets is set in the 50s. Like, that whole Sweet Revenge is set in the 50s. And I would love a year that was, like, sort of themed to that. You know, not exactly, but, you know, sort of in that era. And that's obviously the merch did not point to that at all. But I
No.
think it would, not at all. But to be fair, we don't know if that merch actually correlates to what the event's going to be. Um, but I would, I mean, that would be a really fun idea to have a theme a year to set it, you know, in that time frame.
Hmm.
All right. On to shows. So only one show now. In the Fear Factor stage, Fire Symbol, Nightmare Fuel. And for an insider rumor, Alicia teased something Beetlejuice related on the forum saying, "What's going on with Beetlejuice?" And in response to someone replying, "He has a movie coming out soon," she said, "Is he celebrating at HHN?" She later clarified that something Beetlejuice is an actual rumor and that a potential show is Spec. Thank you for changing that.
I don't know why it was
Beetlejuicy.
like that. I think she said that and I just copied and pasted it. I don't know why
Ooh.
it looked like that. Anyways.
Alicia, we got to talk, but
Okay, maybe I typed it. I might have been me. I
it's
don't know.
okay.
Whatever. Whatever.
I will refer to him as Beetlejuicy now. Uh, that's interesting. So only Nightmare Fuel, but a potential Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I don't know. I would like a Beetlejuice show.
You and me
That'd be a
both.
great comedic relief type show for sure.
I'll allow the weekend if I get a Beetlejuice. That's my barter.
Well,
I
we
have
don't
no
have any
say,
say, unfortunately, so it doesn't matter.
but that's my deal.
This also could be something like maybe she heard that like he could be like walking around as a meet and greet like at the bar or something, you know, like
David has pumpkins, but it's Beetlejuice.
I mean maybe because she said technically like the show was Spec, it could be anything and that technically qualifies with anything at
You'll
HHN.
never see me again at HHN. No, well, actually, everyone will know where to find me, but you'll never see me again anywhere but there. I live there now. I avoided it last year, but now I reside there.
All right. Well, is it time to move on to Hollywood?
Let's go.
Yes.
I think the best way to handle this is to quickly just read off the things that are the same exact symbol, because we already talked about them. So, real quick,
Yes.
the UBE venue is the mute symbol, which we think is Quiet Place, along with everyone else. Soundstage 22 is going to be the Cadillac logo, Ghostbusters once again. H Lot Tent 2 is the Lantern, Insidious. And then also H Lot Tent 1 is going to have that bride hairdo on top of the female gender symbol, which we discussed in length earlier. Other than that, they do have some different things. So who wants to kick us off here in Parisian Courtyard?
I will. So, over in the Parisian Courtyard, we have still the flower symbol, but it's not inside a map of Latin America now.
No, oh, sorry, it is.
Oh,
Sorry,
it
I don't know
is?
why I
It
put it.
is?
It is.
I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it is in a map. This outline is kicking my butt, Jonathan. Come on. So the
Listen.
flower symbol is there, but now it is inside a map of Latin America. Is it on a specific part like ours was, or no?
I think it's near the top of South America. I gotta check. I think it isn't just like on the middle like of the map. Like it is in a
Okay.
specific place.
Interesting.
Uh-oh.
So, are they getting monstrous again or different?
I mean, you would hope they're not getting it again.
I mean, but it's Hollywood, so they probably could get
Yeah.
it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, it is,
Yeah.
like the top, top left area of the South, like I don't think it's super. I don't know if it's meant to actually say it somewhere. I think it might just
Okay.
be saying, "Hey,
They fit it in
this
there.
exactly like, hey, this original that came from the Murdy clues about gardening. We think it's related to Latin America in some way, and it's going to be in there." And I think that's what I have a feeling that's what they're referring to here.
Gotcha. Well, I hope it's something different. As much as I love Monstrose, it's not one I need to see again right away, or maybe again. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
I would just hope it's something different. And I'm sure it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We ready to move on to the Mummy Q?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. This one is also an original. And I don't know if I'm probably going to say this word wrong. I don't actually know how to say it. Symbol of a Quonset. How do I say? There's I don't know how to say it.
Quonset? I don't
Quonset?
know. Looks like
Quonset, I think.
Quonset.
Quonset? Yeah.
Symbol a Quonset hut on fire. It's the last time I'm going to say that word. Okay. And the community has come to a sort of consensus on this. Basically, there's been a lot of Murdy clues involving like borax mines and hell and stuff like that. And people have come to the conclusion that there could be this hut next to a borax mine. I cannot tell you how they got to all these conclusions. I think Hydra came to a lot of these. But basically, there is a hut next to a borax mine, and they dig too deep in the borax mine, and they reach hell, or all that. And people are thinking that it could be related to the past scare zone Urban Inferno that was at HHN Hollywood. And yeah.
Well,
What does that have to do with the radioactive logo on it?
That is actually Jonathan from the Hotline brought that up when we were doing our Discord event, and he said something that I was like that kind of funny. Also, like, oh, maybe. And he said maybe Toxic Tunnel.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what he brought up too. So I'm like, I don't know what this is, but he brought up a good point.
In Urban Inferno in general, it was just like a bunch of obviously real characters and shit, but like a bunch of melted bodies, and
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
so maybe it could be like a updated take on it.
It could be.
Yeah.
I mean, Exterminators was essentially a very updated take on what was there before.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is where that Exterminators bug like rumor from the last map kind of turned into. Because that's what this feels like, is like,
yeah, maybe
something radioactive, and like it's just some fucked up people who got fucked up by some shit, and maybe some bugs that are alive still in hell. Because that's my hell. I don't know about you guys.
I mean, I think it literally is too. So
yeah, interesting, especially for Hollywood. I kind of like when they do. I don't know if this will be goofy, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna miss my man Larry, but
well, like that right now, both of these original rumors are not repeats.
Well,
yeah,
maybe.
We'll see, who knows.
Moving on, Jonathan. Great news.
Yes.
In Soundstage 15, there is a symbol of glasses with stars in them, like stars in the eyes of the glasses, almost like they're like blinding lights or something. Wonder what that could mean.
I wonder, and you know how I want to, because a lot of people like didn't notice this on the map. You know how every like IP has the vinyl. No, sorry. Oh my god,
this has the vinyl.
It has the this one has a vinyl for the IP symbol
instead of a film reel.
I was looking at the word vinyl, and all my brain could think of was vinyl as I was looking at it. But yeah, instead of film reel, this has a vinyl relating to music. And so, yeah,
it's the weekend. That's what they're getting at, obviously.
I mean, 100%. There's no other way to take this.
I could see them doing the repeat though. That's a Hollywood move.
Yeah. I hope it would be different, but
Me too.
we'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
This would be a Hollywood exclusive, if it's true.
Maybe.
Yeah, well, according to this map.
Yeah.
According to both of these maps.
It'll be
It,
nice.
it doesn't make sense to me, and it still doesn't. That let's say both of these maps are true, which we know there's going to be changes, blah blah blah. But let's say these both are true, that Hollywood get an exclusive of an IP that would essentially be the headliner of both events. Like if it jumped into the IP lineup on both events, it's automatically the headliner. Like
Unless it is literally a repeat house.
that's the only way I could see it not being like as the headliner of the event if it's legit just after hours, or even if they did something like Singapore and it was after hours with a little bit of Don FM at the end.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's move on to T-Pad.
Oh, yay. The T-Pad is an IP. It's got a symbol of a pig with X's in its eyes. People are speculating that it's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre and it would be a Hollywood exclusive. Would this also be a repeat? I don't know. These are all things that have been done before.
And Hollywood has done Texas Chainsaw Massacre in multiple ways as well.
Yeah.
So, a repeat of what? If anything, I would hope more Blood Brothers-esque, because that would be more unique towards the time that we are in. And in this location, correct me if I'm wrong, Jonathan, it has a layout for a larger facade. Or is this not the one?
T-Pad is not the bigger facade. It does. It is big. It is. This location is big, and it is definitely not flat. I think this is the one where people thought it was flat, and then
not the flat facade. The one that looked flat, but is going to be more.
Exactly. Yes. I'm pretty sure. I could be completely wrong on that. I'm using memory. I could even go back to the DMs I was looking at. But I think this is one that everyone was like, "Oh, we're gonna get Hill House type facade again," and then Kevin went in. Yeah, and Kevin went in and went nope. Look at this other wall here. It's not that. It's not a flat wall. And going back to my notes real quick, specifically about the facade, it's about as tall as Legends Collide, possibly taller. So yeah, pretty tall. And it's not flat because you can tell from the second wall. So yeah, pretty tall facade and not flat.
Well, another thing to point out is that not everyone is saying Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Some people are obviously going to toss in Saw as a possibility.
Six Flags.
Mm-hmm. Very unlikely, yes, of course, but it is something that is floating around.
And it's been at the event before, so
I can't see it if Six Flags has it again.
Six Flags has it. It's not happening.
Yeah.
I can't believe they are doing it again after seeing what they did.
Yeah.
Can't believe they did in the first place.
Yeah. Either way. Not really for me either. So
I hope it's something different. I don't think it would be the first movie again. I think, like you said, Duff, they'd either go Blood Brothers or just something else entirely. I don't think they can get away with doing just the first one this soon. Blood Brothers they could. Not a repeat of the first.
All right. Well, let's terror tram it now.
Jesus Christ.
Toot toot. That's what a terror tram does when you honk on the horn, right? Toot toot.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't know. We go in the VIP one.
That is true. Fair. Bougie. All right, I'll just say it because it's an easy one. It's literally the Blumhouse logo.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yep. I guess this is where they shoehorn it.
Is it Blumhouse, mashup? Is it a Blumhouse property? I don't. Who knows? Will it be Blumhouse at all?
Imaginary.
It seems like the terror trams typically are the latest to get speculated accurately on these maps, so I don't know if I'm buying it yet anyways.
No, I'm not.
Only thing you can guarantee about the terror tram is you're going to walk past the Psycho House and the Bates Motel, and you're going to see the War of the Worlds set. and the Nope set now, excuse me.
Yep.
You get those 4. What the theme is, that is up to them.
Mm-hmm.
Are we ready to move on to shows?
Let's do it. Let's finish this map off.
Hell yeah. I'll take the first one because it's also pretty simple. Waterworld stage. This previously had a White Castle on it for Harold and Kumar, but it is not that anymore. It is still an IP. It is the Purge symbol. So, according to this map, it's looking like we're getting a version or the same Purge Dangerous Waters type show.
That's okay.
Yeah, good. I hope so.
I love that show.
It was a very good show. It was. I liked it a lot last year.
It was a good addition, and also to rest your feet.
Mm-hmm.
All right, one more show. We have the DreamWorks Theater. It's an IP with a globe symbol.
Yep. Oh, it's a Universal property. Yay!
Maybe
Some people are speculating. I know. Jonathan from the Hotline said this, and a lot of other of our Discord members. Because even the Discord, I'm like, I don't know what this is, guys. I'm gonna be honest. They were thinking maybe how Blumhouse was like behind the scenes at Blumhouse. It could just be like behind the scenes at Universal. Horror history stuff like that. They're having some anniversaries over there at Universal Studios Hollywood. It wouldn't be the worst idea to do something like that, and could be a fun use of the style that they've been going that they did before with Blumhouse, just with something they own, or like their properties that aren't just Blumhouse.
Yeah, I
That
could
would be
see them
cool.
doing even the monsters, just like the Universal Monsters history.
Mm-hmm. I don't think the actual the actual symbol's a little vague to like really guess what it is.
Mhm.
But that's just everyone's theory because I mean I don't know what else people can think of when they look at that symbol right now.
Universal. That's really the first thing and only thing that came to mind. Fully.
Yeah.
Well, do we have any last things on, I guess, either spec map before we kind of get to closing out here?
No, but we should be getting an announcement in the next couple weeks, hopefully.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
that's exciting.
Hopefully. Not absolutely. Should, hopefully.
Yeah, nothing's guaranteed. But with that, we'll get more spec maps with actual announcements on them, hopefully. So
Yeah.
that'll be fun.
Shall we voicemail it?
Yeah, I forgot we had a voicemail.
She's got the whole world in her hands. She's got the whole world in her hands. She's got the whole world in her hands. She's got the whole world in her. We're all following the clues. That's for all the Jesse lovers. Everyone's losing their shit with these new spec maps. I am. I think it'd be really cool. I mentioned it earlier. A Bray Wyatt house would be freaking cool. So that was a little homage for Jesse, being us WWE fans here. But being realistic, I think the lantern is going to be for Insidious. And if you look at the symbol for the bride, it's also the sex symbol for female. So I really think we're going to get a Scream Queen's house. Sorry, didn't introduce myself. It's El Turo Guapo here, guys. Sorry. But continuing, I think we're going to get Scream Queens, would be really cool. Or maybe a sequel house to Bride of Frankenstein, which would be really cool. I just confused that we lost Freddy Krueger. I don't know, maybe it was due to some right issues. I don't know, but Egyptian house would be cool. I think that's going to be that, and Silver Scream 2 house. So we might see the Usher again. I just think the biggest thing that blew my mind is the change from Dracula to maybe the Scream Queens or Bride of Frankenstein. I just want to get your take. Let me know what you guys think, and follow the buzzards, or follow the Beatles. Bye.
Wow. El Churro Guapo, you have stepped up to the mic and showed off your vocal range for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, more for Jess than anything, I guess.
Bray Wyatt is very proud of that. That was a beautiful tribute. So thank you. I appreciate. Thank you for changing it for me. Follow the Beatles. I'm gonna put that on my Twitter now. But yeah, obviously I talked about the Bray Wyatt house already, but I agree with you 100% on that. It's insidious. I've already said it. What do you guys think?
It's probably insidious. Or it's at least meant to
He
be
said other
insidious.
things. But yeah, I agree. That the Scream Queen's house, I agree. I would love to see it. We should have just had him on this episode because everything we said
Wrapped it right up. Look at that little bow. Song and a bow.
Oh, I love it. And follow the Beatles, not follow the buzzards.
All right, well, that's all we got for today then. So remember to go follow us over on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and YouTube at HHN365. Remember, this Friday, May 3rd, 7 p.m. Eastern, YouTube Live. Our first, ever real YouTube Live event. So come join us, talk about the spec map and everything else, and hang out with us. Also over on TikTok at HHN365pod. Come to our Discord where we also do lives. That link is in the description. Check out our merch at hhn365.com. And if you would also like to sing any song of your choice to us, you can do that in a voicemail at 407-906-4134. That's all for this episode, and we will see you in the streets.